But there's a couple of differences in between, and so we go into the supermarket and we go, well, what do we buy? What do we look for? You know, and how much better is this one compared to that one? So what I want to firstly do is to go, okay, well, you are after a high protein yogurt. So basically now what they're doing with yogurts is they're straining them. So by default you end up with a concentrated form of yogurt. So these mostly have between 15 to 17 grams of protein in them. These do. There's enough. Pardon? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So basically, females want to be getting about 20 grams of protein per meal, and males about 40 grams, and that's based on your hand portion sizes. And that's what we're looking at in terms of maximal protein synthesis. Any more will just contribute to energy intake, but from a muscle protein synthesis point of view, you want to be getting roughly drip feeding that 20 grams of protein into every single meal that you have. So this is what's going to, come pretty close. So a serving of this. Now I've gone with a plain with everything because of course when you get the fruit flavored stuff, you start to looking at adding sugars and those sorts of things in. I want you guys to get that from your natural sugars, so from your fruits. So with this, the difference between these guys, so basically they're all around, like I said, roughly about 15 to 17 grams of protein. There's another one, Skyland, which is or Skylark, is another brand. It's a little bit bigger, 180 grams in terms of a tub, but it has 20 grams of protein. So for the boys, that's probably a better option to have from a snack point of view. But I want to tell you the difference between these two. So Chobani is probably the first guy that was the new kid on the block, and then we've of course had subsequent companies try and do a version of that. So basically what we're looking for is always go a plain or an unsweetened yogurt. That's my first thing. So you have an option then to use it as a savoury or as something sweet. So Chobani, and what I love about yogurt, it's got those probiotics in there. So those live cultures, those active cultures they put back into dairy, which for a lot of part help to digest and break down the lactose. So people often say, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. But when you have a yogurt, you've got those probiotics, those good gut bacteria in there that start to break down that lactose for you already. So by the time you eat it, there's not a lot of sugar in yogurt itself. But people get so concerned that there's so much sugar in yogurt, even when it's unsweetened. It's not. It's a really good health food for thinking about gut health. And from a recovery point of view, eggs on par with dairy for being a really great source of good essential amino acids. Okay, so good protein, good carbohydrate, post-training is a wonderful way to put it in. So we've got this. So Chobani, if you want to compare different things, we've got Danone, the YoPro, and I want you guys to tell like a different texture. I want you to get a feel for what it tastes like. I'm going to put some on our other little snack boats over here. And then we've got Rokeby Farms, which is obviously where my film York came from, and so I just love these guys. The reason and the point of difference is it's once again it's from Gippsland, so it's a little bit on home turf. But the difference between this and these guys is the calcium content. So for someone that we think about, if you're trying to reduce dairy, it's a pretty easy way of getting calcium. So for most females, if I think about females and what their needs are, and males as well, they're roughly about the same, maybe a little bit less, but 1,000 milligrams a day. So say for instance a yogurt, 1 cup of milk will get you that. I wanted to do a bit of a milk hierarchy, but we might not have time for that. So when you're looking at a lot of your almond milks compared to just normal standard cow's milk, what you lose out on is calcium unless they fortify it. So you really need to be looking at getting a cup about 300 milligrams of calcium. Now if my daily needs are 1,000 milligrams, I'm going to be needing to get that source from somewhere else as well throughout the day. So really important in terms of bone mineral health. Muscle speaks to bone. Bone is an active tissue. It's not just a rod. It doesn't just sit there. It needs constant nutrition. So we're talking about bone health, vitamin D, and calcium is really important. And resistance training, which you guys have covered. So this is really important. So when I looked at we actually even emailed Rokeby Farms because we were like, are you really sure that this is right? So the calcium content in here is per serve, which is 170 grams of this entire pack is 507 milligrams. Compared to your normal yogurt, it's 300 milligrams. Compared to Chobani, 204 milligrams, over double. Okay, so if you've got a calcium need or you're not eating a lot of calcium-containing foods, I would choose something like this as a product over something else. Okay, but like I said, from a protein point of view, they're quite equal in that instance, and from a carbohydrate point of view, they're quite equal as well. So I wanted to give you guys a bit of a difference. I think Chobani is a little bit more fluid, if I think about the texture of that. The Danone YoPro is a little bit thicker. Sometimes when I don't have a great appetite, it's really hard to get this down. It's quite dense. But like I said, it's equally, from a nutrition point of view, on par with each other. What's their calcium content? 176, so there you go, the lowest one there. And then of course, like I said, my Rokeby Farms is the winner, but very distinct taste. It's a quiet style of yogurt, it's a bit more like cottage cheese. Okay, so you can use it, as I said, as a savoury or as a sweet. And then of course we've got our coconut yogurt, which is the other one that comes into the mix. And I just wanted to give you guys a bit of variation because people often just go, I'll just substitute for coconut yogurt because I'm dairy free. don't want to do dairy. And if we have a look at the nutrition content of this in comparison to my gold window here, so I'm looking at per serve, so this is 170 grams, so it's equal amount in terms of per serve. I'm getting 734 kilojoules versus 474 kilojoules. Double the energy for the same volume. So when you think about a weight loss perspective, trying to get less calories, not a great option. When I'm looking at calcium, they haven't even listed it, which means doesn't have any. I'm looking at the fat content, which obviously helps with bumping up calories at 16.5 grams. I'm looking at the fat content of here being 1.7. I'm looking at the protein content of here being 1.7 grams as opposed to 17 grams. Much, much different nutrient profile. This does not equal this. They are not a good substitute. And if you're going to have this, I would use it as you would cream. Not a health food. Cool. We're all happy with that. Now, I want you guys to taste them. Have a taste of everything. So I'm going to pop a little bit. I'm going to use this instead of my sour cream on top of my beautiful salmon boats. So my salmon, once again, omega-3. Okay, when we're looking at anti-inflammatory, olive oil trumps everything, but fish or marine-based sources of fish are the best in terms of getting a omega-3 content of fats, which are the good fats, remember?
So what's on your lettuce leaf there to make a boat?
Yeah.